In the heart of Santarém, Carlo Acutis stands before a thrumming crowd, his pulse racing as stories of faith and resilience intertwine like colorful threads in a tapestry. Today, he unveils an exhibition born from whispers of miracles, a collective journey where young artists transform their pain into beauty, igniting hope in the hearts of the lost. But just as the final chords echo, a haunting question lingers. What if this moment holds the key to awakening a forgotten faith, not just for them, but for the world? To understand how it all began, we must rewind to the sacred spark that set this journey in motion. You won't believe what happened next, but before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and tell us where you're watching from. In a small town nestled among the hills of Portugal, Carlo Acutis sat at his desk, surrounded by countless books on the Eucharistic miracles that had captivated his young heart. At just 15, Carlo's curiosity transcended the typical teenage interests. He was deeply fascinated by the mysteries of faith and the tangible presence of divinity in the mundane. As he flipped through the pages, a particular story caught his attention, the Eucharistic miracle of Santarém, which had unfolded nearly 7 centuries earlier. His eyes sparkled with the thrill of discovery and a resolve formed in his heart. He needed to see it for himself. The miracle of Santarém was not just a tale of faith. It was an intersection of history, spirituality, and the supernatural. It had occurred in the 13th century, a time when beliefs were fervent and the divine made itself known in undeniable ways. It was during this period that a woman, having lost her faith, committed an act that would send shockwaves through the community. The very size of the event loomed large in Carlo's mind. By seeking out this site, he felt he was not only chasing a story but pursuing a profound personal journey. In this quest, the town of Santarém beckoned him like a lighthouse guiding lost ships to safety. Carlo gathered his belongings, his parents' understanding yet concerned glances followed him as he prepared for the journey. "Are you sure you want to go alone?" his mother asked, her voice laced with a mix of apprehension and pride. "It's a long way and you've not been away from home for so long." But Carlo's mind was made up. This wasn't merely a trip, it was a pilgrimage, a sacred encounter with the divine. His heart raced with anticipation as he stepped outside, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. As he traveled to Santarém, he couldn't help but reflect on the stories surrounding the miracle. The tale of the woman who, overwhelmed by disbelief, had taken the consecrated host and faced the consequences of her actions within the church. Carlo envisioned the blood and light phenomena that followed, illuminating the shadowy corners of doubt in the townsfolk's hearts. He imagined the whispers of enchantment rippling through the community as they bore witness to such a powerful sign of God's presence. The thought electrified him. Soon, he would be standing where it all began. Upon arriving in Santarém, the atmosphere shifted. A palpable sense of reverence clung to the air. The bustling streets seemed to narrow, guiding him closer to the sanctuary that housed the relic. Local vendors showcased their wares, vibrant colors enticing the eye, but Carlo paid them little mind. His focus remained unwavering, a beacon of faith drawing him nearer to the epicenter of his journey. With each step, he became more aware of the rich history he was about to immerse himself in. As he approached the sanctuary, Carlo's breath quickened. The intricate architecture loomed ahead, the stones whispering secrets of centuries past. His heart pounded in rhythm with the prayers of countless pilgrims who had walked this path before him. The atmosphere shimmered with the echoes of devotion, and with every footfall he could almost hear the voices of the faithful who had come to witness the miracle. What if he too could somehow touch that divine moment? What if he could feel that connection? Stepping into the sanctuary, Carlo was enveloped in a hushed reverence. Candles flickered against the walls, casting a warm glow as the scent of incense danced in the air. His eyes were immediately drawn to the altar where the relic of the consecrated host sat, a simple piece of bread transformed into something extraordinary. It pulsed with an energy that spoke to Carlo's soul, igniting a spark of faith deep within him. He approached with care, reverently touching the surface of the holy space. Suddenly, his mind filled with visions of the original miracle, the woman's act of desperation, the blood spilling forth where there should have been none. The scene played out vividly in his imagination, the anguish of her disbelief met with an outpouring of love and restoration from God. This moment intertwined their destinies, and Carlo felt an overwhelming desire to explore further, to share this miracle and its meaning with others. As he knelt in prayer, a warmth enveloped him, as if the hands of saints were resting upon his shoulders, guiding him onward in his mission. Was it truly coincidence that he was here at this precise moment in history? At that instant, Carlo knew he was not just an observer, he was part of something larger. He felt called to document this sacred encounter, to record the truths that unfolded around him and to share them with the world. Yet the thoughts of his mother's questions and his responsibilities danced on the edges of his mind. How could he balance the weight of this spiritual journey with his everyday life? What awaited him beyond the sanctuary walls? Carlo rose, heart swelling with purpose, and took a deep breath. The answers would reveal themselves, but first he had to be fully present in this moment. And so he ventured deeper into his miraculous pilgrimage, unaware of the profound impact it would leave not just on his life, but on countless lives to come. As Carlo stepped back into the luminous embrace of the sanctuary's light, he carried not just the weight of his own doubts and aspirations, but also the resolve of the countless faith-filled souls that had come before him. The stories of the original miracle swirled in his mind, and he felt an urgent desire to unravel the threads of this history that stretched from the past into the present. He realized that the act Maria had committed long ago, her heart heavy with disbelief, was not merely a moment of sacrilege. It had become a profound turning point for an entire community. This understanding fueled Carlo's ambition to document not just the historical facts, but more importantly, the emotional heart of the miracle. He envisioned capturing the essence of faith being reborn through the voices and experiences of those who still believed in Santarém. Determined to dig deeper, Carlo began his quest to speak with locals who had intimate ties to the story, knowing that each voice would bring another facet to his mosaic of faith. He wandered through the cobblestone streets, each step echoing with the memories of pilgrims long gone. Every storefront he passed held an invitation, each face a potential witness. He arrived at a small, bustling market filled with vendors selling fruits, bread, and trinkets, an experience of the senses. The aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the air, mingling with the laughter of children playing nearby. Carlo approached an elderly woman selling intricate lace. Her hands were worn yet gentle, weaving stories into the very fabric of her creations. "Excuse me," Carlo said, his voice warm with hope and curiosity. "Do you believe in the miracle of the host?" The woman paused, her eyes glistening with recollection. "Ah, young man, that miracle is more than just a story, it is life to me and many others. I was there in the church on that fateful day when God's love poured forth into our hearts." Eager, Carlo moved closer. "What did you witness?" With her hands working deftly over the lace, she recounted the events as if they were etched in her memory. "I saw the woman, terrified and trembling. I stood in the back of the church and felt the air change, the weight of disbelief lifting away as the blood flowed. It was as if God himself was saying, 'I am here, believe.'" The woman's voice trembled slightly as she spoke, her passion igniting a fervor in Carlo. He felt that the stories she shared were not just anecdotes, they were living testaments to the impact of faith in the community. "What did the community feel after?" he asked, scribbling notes rapidly, ensuring not to lose a single word. "Ah," the laughter turned to gasps of reverence. "The people knelt, tears streaming down their faces," she continued, her expression reflecting the profoundness of the moment. "From that day forth, we carried the miracle in our hearts. It wasn't just her act, it became ours as well. Faith was restored in a way we had never thought possible." Carlo listened, riveted by her words. The ripple effect of Maria's transformation resonated with him, drawing every thread of understanding closer. This moment was pivotal, igniting a hope that surged through the generations of Santarém. He sensed that he was gathering more than just stories, he was capturing a cultural and spiritual revival. The woman smiled warmly, her eyes glowing. "Keep that fire of faith alive, young man. Go bring it to others like a torch. You have a mission, I can feel it." Carlo nodded, a fire igniting in his heart as he took her blessing to run with it. Inspired, he waved goodbye and continued his journey, each interaction giving him new insights into the identity of the town and the essence of the miracle. He sought out local historians, flipping through dusty tomes in the library, each faded page revealing the intricacies of events surrounding the miraculous occurrence. They also shared how the local community worked to preserve not just the relic, but also the spirit of faith it represented. Later that evening, Carlo decided to delve deeper into the historical records. He visited a small museum that exhibited artifacts from the miracle, including paintings, documents, and objects that had played a role in the events. As he roamed the halls, he felt as if he were stepping through a portal of time where every exhibit whispered stories waiting to be heard. A museum curator approached him, curious about his fascination. "You seem awfully dedicated to the story behind this miracle," she said, her keen eyes observing him closely. "Most don't understand its significance. What drives you?" "Each person I meet has a story about how this miracle has affected their lives," Carlo replied earnestly. "It's changing me too. I want to capture this legacy, share it far and wide to inspire others who may have lost their way." "This miracle is sacred," she remarked, a smile breaking across her face. Over the years, I have seen lives changed by its presence. Many arrive seeking a sign and they leave with their faith renewed. Their conversation flowed effortlessly as they explored the museum. The curator shared facts and facilitated Carlo's connection to the miracle's deeper layers of meaning. He learned of the miracles that followed the healings, the transformations, and the way countless individuals had become evangelists of faith, spreading the message of love and redemption framed around the original event. With each passing moment, Carlo's vision of the exhibition began to solidify, a collage of personal accounts interspersed with visual art that captured the beauty and gravity of belief. He would highlight not only the miracle itself but also the ongoing impact it had on individuals in the community. The narrative would layer personal experiences, connecting the past to the present, amplifying the urgency to rekindle faith and belief in the hearts of many. Days turned into luminous evenings spent in dialogue with townsfolk, priests, and pilgrims alike, all contributing pieces to his puzzle. The more he engaged, the more he felt the undeniable pull of the divine guiding him toward a purpose beyond himself. At night, he would sit beneath the stars, reflecting on each story, each encounter. One night, as he prepared to turn in, a thought struck him. What if he used social media to connect with younger audiences? What if he documented not only the miracle's history but also the modern-day faith experiences of youth across Europe? He felt energized by the idea. This could be a way to bridge gaps, reaching those who may no longer engage in traditional forms of faith. His plan began to unfurl like a blossom, each petal revealing insights and expanding his vision. By capturing stories through photographs and film, he could invite viewers into an intimate relationship with faith, illustrating how lives could still transform today, much like they had centuries ago in Santarém. As he lay down to rest that night, Carlo was filled with gratitude. His journey was blossoming into something beautiful and far-reaching. He settled into an anxious sleep, knowing that he would wake to continue his pilgrimage, one that intertwined the miraculous past with the vibrant quest for faith in the present and future. Tomorrow would bring new stories and new challenges, but Carlo Acutis was ready for whatever it took to preserve and share the legacy of the miracle, a divine invitation echoing through centuries, reaching across time and space to awaken the souls thirsting for meaning. As dawn broke over Santarém, Carlo Acutis awoke with excitement bubbling in his chest. The day of the exhibition had arrived, an event he had tirelessly prepared for over the past weeks. He could feel the electricity in the air, a divine promise that this day would be unlike any other. Each detail he envisioned was finally going to manifest, a dazzling display of creativity, faith, and community, entwined with the storied history of the miracle that had captivated hearts for centuries. With purpose in his stride, Carlo donned his favorite shirt and grabbed his camera, his companion in capturing moments that mattered. He made his way to the sanctuary, heart racing, feeling as if he were stepping into a sacred arena. As he entered, he was greeted by the warm hues of the setting sun filtering through the stained glass, casting a mosaic of colors onto the stone floor. It was a familiar sight, yet today it felt alive with possibility. The sanctuary hummed with activity as townsfolk and pilgrims busily arranged the final touches of the exhibit. Carlo paused to take in the vibrant murals sketched by Anna and the youth group. Each mural depicted aspects of the miracle, reflecting the stories of love, healing, and renewal. Today, these murals would not just tell a story, they would resonate with each heartbeat in the room. The musicians began to arrive, their instruments slung over their shoulders, excitement palpable as they set up in a cozy corner of the sanctuary. Carlo approached them, the energy infectious. "Are you all ready?" he asked, his eagerness matching their own. "More than ready," one musician exclaimed, adjusting the strings of his guitar. "We bring the music, you bring the spirit." Laughter echoed around them, and Carlo felt the intertwining threads of community strengthening. As he moved through the sanctuary, helping where he could, he sought out those local individuals with stories to share. Each voice contributed a brushstroke to the collective portrait of faith being painted today. As the hour approached, the sanctuary transformed into an arena of vibrant hope. The air buzzed with chatter and laughter, punctuated by the soothing notes of music forming a backdrop to the tales being shared. Carlo made his rounds, engaging everyone with warmth, sharing smiles and laughter as they exchanged stories about their personal connections to the miracle. He paused before an elderly couple seated together, their hands entwined, their eyes glimmering with history. "What brings you two here today?" Carlo asked warmly. The man looked up with a nostalgic smile. "We've been coming here for over 60 years, he replied. "The miracle saved our marriage when our faith was on the brink of collapse. It reawakened our spirit." His wife chimed in, her voice gentle yet firm. We witnessed firsthand how God can fill our lives with purpose again. We want others to feel that hope. As their stories unfurled, Carlo scribbled down their words, feeling that the couple's love story was one piece of a larger narrative he yearned to portray. Their shared journey resonated deeply, a reminder that the miracle served not just as a historical event, but also as an awakening for connections forged in times of trial. As the time grew closer to the exhibition's commencement, Carlo gathered everyone in a semicircle. Today, we share the miracles that breathe life into our community. Each story, each piece of art echoes the profound love that brought us here and resonates with the promise of faith reborn. Encouraged by their collective spirit, Carlo gestured for the musicians to take center stage. They began strumming chords that reverberated throughout the sanctuary, the harmonies swelling and lifting the spirit of the gathering. The audience swayed gently, their hearts beating in rhythm with the music. The musicians shared their stories too, recounting how the miracle had inspired them to pour their faith into their craft. They performed hauntingly beautiful compositions that encapsulated the beauty of connection and devotion. As stories flowed through the music and voices intertwined with faith, Carlo felt the moments click together like pieces of a puzzle. He approached two young girls, their faces lit with joy as they spoke of the murals. We painted those, we believe it can inspire others to find faith too. That's exactly the spirit we need, Carlo encouraged, his eyes sparkling with pride. You have all done something so special, you have taken your faith and turned it into art. The girls beamed, sharing their thoughts on what faith meant to them. They felt a sense of responsibility to amplify the miracles of the past while reaching out to their peers who felt lost, a bridge Carlo knew could encourage others to redefine or rediscover their paths. As the exhibition unfolded, Carlo continued to navigate a sea of stories, gathering precious accounts that echoed the sentiments of transformation and healing. In the midst of the crowd, he spotted the young man he had spoken to the previous day, who had been hesitant to engage. Now he moved among the attendees with newfound confidence. Seeing him connect with others filled Carlo's heart with hope. Hey, Carlo called as he spotted the young man engaging a small group. I'm so glad to see you here, what do you think? It's incredible, the young man replied, his eyes glimmering. Hearing everyone's stories, feeling the energy, this is what I needed. I didn't realize how much faith could mean, even to someone like me. Carlo smiled, pride warming his heart. You're part of this community now, he said. We all add to the tapestry of faith in our own way. As the afternoon transitioned into evening, the sanctuary transformed, lit by the warm glow of candles flickering in the gathering dark. The community felt the spirit of one another, woven closer during moments of shared vulnerability, laughter, and artistry. Carlo stood back for a moment, allowing the joy of the gathering to wash over him. This was more than he had ever envisioned. The final act of the evening began with the musicians collaborating together, creating a song that underscored the hopeful vibrancy of the stories echoed throughout the sanctuary. The atmosphere filled with notes of solidarity, joy, and a reminder that faith transcended barriers. The audience joined in, their voices mingling, creating a heavenly chorus of hope and love. As the last notes floated into the night, Carlo stepped forward, his heart racing, prepared to face the crowd once more. Tonight is a testament, a testimony. A living reflection of how the miracle of Santarém continues to inspire us, the tired, the lost, and the hopeful. He surveyed the faces gathered in the glow of flickering candles, smiles brightening the room and filling it with warmth. Faith finds us in our moments of doubt, challenges us, and ultimately transforms us. And as we have seen today, we hold the power to pass that faith forward. With that, Carlo extended his arms wide, inviting everyone to come together in a circle before the altar. Let us take a moment to share our intentions, our wishes for the future, and lift each other up in prayer as a community. As everyone joined hands, the sanctuary was filled with a profound spirit that seemed to transcend time. The loving bond that had formed anchored everyone, united in shared hopes and prayers that shimmered through the space. As Carlo's heart swelled, he was struck by the miracle taking place around him, a vibrant communion of faith, hope, and love. He knew within his heart that this was more than just an exhibition, it was a legacy renewed. He looked up, allowing emotions to flow, thankfulness for the journey he had been on, and a celebration for all those with whom he would continue to walk, forever intertwined by the bonds of faith that would carry on. In that moment, beneath the soft candlelight and collective voices rising into the night sky, Carlo Acutis felt the warmth of miracles surround him. Their echoes would continually guide him in the years to come, a reminder of the power of faith that would always beckon those searching for meaning, light, and connection to a divine invitation calling them home. In the weeks that followed the uplifting exhibition, the momentum of faith and creativity continued to swell within the community of Santarém. Carlo Acutis stood at the heart of this transformation, nurturing bonds that had flourished during the festival and ensuring no spark of inspiration went dim. The love surrounding him seemed to radiate outward, igniting hearts far beyond the town's borders. As word of their efforts spread, Carlo received messages from young people across Portugal and even beyond, expressing their desire to participate in future workshops or share their own stories of faith. He felt invigorated, recognizing that the seeds of inspiration had been planted and were beginning to sprout. One morning, as the sun broke through the clouds, Carlo gathered a group of young people outside the sanctuary. They sat in a circle, eager to brainstorm ideas for future projects. Today's conversation centered around how they could extend their reach and capture even more of their community's stories in creative forms, music, art, and writing, all intertwined as expressions of faith. "Let's create a publication," Carlo suggested, excitement leaking from every syllable. "An anthology that showcases the artistic expressions of faith from young people across the region. We could reach out not only to Santarém but to other towns, inviting them to submit works that represent their personal experiences with faith." The group erupted into animated conversation, ideas flowing as fast as the coffee being poured. They brainstormed themes for the anthology and quickly recognized how many individuals had experiences to share. Each of them had faced their own challenges and doubts, often emerging transformed in the process. Anna, who sat beside Carlo, raised her hand to speak. "What if we accompany this anthology with workshops focusing on creative expression? We could invite experienced artists, writers, and performers to guide participants in telling their stories." Inspired by the thought, everyone began formulating schedules and contacting potential mentors to lead workshops. They designed flyers that would spread like wildfire through schools and community centers, detailing their intentions and inviting youth across various backgrounds to come together in a safe space to share and create. As the project took shape, the young people decided to name it Miracles and Voices to reflect the profound transformation they sought to inspire. Day by day, their plans began to unfold, momentum building with each exchanged email and enthusiastic conversation. Drama, poetry, photography, and visual arts became cornerstones of their initiative, a reminder that faith could be expressed in countless forms. They organized a series of workshops in the sanctuary, each one fostering a sense of camaraderie as participants stepped outside their comfort zones and dared to share their stories and creative expressions. Throughout the sessions, Carlo observed the magic of the community coming alive. People who had previously felt isolated in their doubts began to forge connections through their shared experiences. Young artists painted murals that encapsulated their feelings, drama students wrote and performed skits about their search for meaning, and poets penned verses that echoed their deep truths. One particularly eager participant was a young boy named Pedro who initially hesitated to share his voice. Carlo noticed him quietly observing the activities, longing yet reluctant. One day, as the workshop drew to a close, Carlo approached Pedro, gently inviting him to express his thoughts. "What do you want to create?" Carlo asked. Pedro looked up with wide eyes, contemplating for a moment before answering, "I want to write a story about my fear of losing my grandmother. She teaches me about faith with every story she tells." "Then let's focus on that," Carlo encouraged. "Your story matters, it's part of the miracle too." With that, Pedro took a leap of faith. Together, they formed an outline, added characters, and explored the emotional depth of his journey. It wasn't long before Pedro began to craft scenes filled with love, loss, and ultimately hope, reflecting the values his grandmother embodied. In the weeks following, as more young people joined the initiative, Carlo nurtured the growing community. He shared their work on social media via the Miracles and Voices hashtag, inviting people from all over to engage in the experience. The stories began to spread like wildfire, each post becoming a thread connecting distant individuals seeking hope. The excitement peaked when they planned a final showcase event. They would present the anthology during a creative night at the sanctuary, a culmination of their journey, where family and friends would gather to celebrate and witness firsthand the stories that had blossomed from individuals. As the night approached, Carlo felt a mix of nerves and excitement. The secondary participants, those who had witnessed the transformation unfold, now gathered and contribute to the celebration. They rehearsed performances, reviewed poetry, and prepared their artistic displays, each imbued with personal significance. On the night of the showcase, the sanctuary glowed softly under the warm light of candles and lanterns. Carlo looked around, taking in the multitude of faces, eager parents, friends, and community members who had come to support and celebrate. The energy was contagious, a mosaic of voices ready to share their truths. As the event commenced, Carlo welcomed the audience, his heart racing. Tonight, we come together to share the stories carved from our hearts, intertwined with the miracle of faith that brought us here. This anthology is not just about the art we created, it is about the connections we built. Every story shared is a prayer, an expression of our journey toward understanding. The first young person stepped onto the stage, heart pounding but determination stealing their resolve. Carlo's breath caught in his throat as they began their performance, reciting poetry that captured the struggle between doubt and belief. The audience resonated with every word, enchanted as each performer shared their truth. Artists exhibited their works, and heartfelt snippets transformed the night into a vibrant tapestry of stories. As the evening stretched on, Carlo felt gratitude swell within him. The emotions woven throughout the sanctuary were palpable. Laughter danced through the air, resonating with affirmations and applause. The community had embraced each voice, cherishing their shared experiences and future aspirations. At the heart of the night, Pedro stood ready to share his story. Nervously clutching his pages, he walked to the microphone, looking out into the sea of faces. Carlo winked encouragingly. He could tell how much this act meant to Pedro and how it would mark a significant step in his journey. "Hi, I'm Pedro," he began, voice shaky. "I want to share a story about my grandmother and how she taught me about faith." He paused, taking a deep breath. "She always says that even in the hardest times we can close our eyes and believe something good will happen." Pedro proceeded to recount his story, painting vivid pictures of his grandmother's wisdom and the lessons he learned about love, loss, and hope. The audience leaned in, captivated by every word, their hearts swelling as they recognized the crux of the tale, how faith managed to wrap around each moment, extending beyond loss into something beautiful. As he finished, the sanctuary erupted into applause. With tears forming in his eyes, Pedro took a moment, overcome by the warmth of affirmation surrounding him. In that moment, he felt connected to everyone around him, family, friends, and even strangers who shared in the loss of loved ones yet battled forward through the comfort of faith. In the aftermath of the showcase, the excitement continued to amplify. The anthology, a beautiful manifestation of the community's creativity and hope, was printed and distributed, somewhat like a written testament of their journey together. The stories carved vibrant pathways into the lives of those who read them, acting as instruments of inspiration across borders. In time, Carlo knew it would transcend generations. Like the miracle that ignited the journey, the faith shared through their collective artistry had breathed new life into countless others, awakening hope amid doubt. With every passing day, Carlo Acutis felt the blossoming purpose within him, a reminder of the legacy they were nurturing, a tapestry of faith spun from the threads of vulnerability and connection. He faced tomorrow knowing their collective efforts would continue to inspire as voices rang out in chorus, echoing through the past, present, and future, and compelling those in their wake to seek connection, love, and faith wherever they may journey. As the weeks turned into months, the impact of the anthology reverberated through Santarém and beyond, creating ripples of change in unexpected ways. Carlo Acutis felt an ever-deepening connection to the community as ideals of faith, creativity, and shared vulnerability intertwined to form a strong fabric of support. His heart swelled with pride as he watched others build upon their shared experiences. Young people were energized, actively seeking opportunities to share their truths. It was inspiring to see how the anthology became a source of strength for many, a lifeline during moments of doubt. Schools began incorporating their stories into discussions on faith and identity, thereby extending their impact far past Carlo's initial vision. One brisk afternoon, while they prepared for another workshop, Carlo sensed the promise of inspiration in the air. City representatives had reached out to invite him to speak at the annual Peace and Hope Festival held in the heart of the city. His heart raced with excitement and determination. This could truly be an opportunity to broaden their message and harness the power of creativity to unite a larger audience. At the meeting, Carlo stood before the representatives, sharing his vision for how the festival could be a showcase of artistic expressions of faith, inviting diverse voices from the community to share their stories. Imagine an event where every person could express their understanding of hope, where stories intertwine with creativity. We can build something that resonates way beyond the borders of Santarém, he proposed passionately. The representatives exchanged glances, a spark of interest igniting in their eyes. This is a beautiful idea, Carlo. If you can coordinate it, we would be happy to support your initiative. As plans began to take shape for the festival, Carlo enlisted Anna, Pedro, and Clara, transforming their initial enthusiasm into a strategic plan for engaging the city. They crafted flyers, assembled a network of artists and performers, and reached out to the community for participation. Excitement soared as they began recruiting not only visual artists but also musicians and storytellers from all walks of life. They wanted to create a space where long-forgotten voices could emerge, hopeful expressions could flourish, and especially where the youth could reclaim their narratives. As festival day drew nearer, Carlo introduced a series of initiatives, encouraging everyone to participate in discussions about the significance of faith. Let us find ways to uplift each other's stories. We want to celebrate every journey, reminding everyone that they are not alone, he emphasized during each planning meeting. As the team prepared for the event, Carlo recognized the potential for growth and healing within the everyday lives of those around him. He began personally mentoring several young individuals who sought to develop their artistic talents, deepening their trust and camaraderie. Marco embraced his songwriting as a means to express his faith more profoundly, while Clara's paintings flourished into diverse representations of what hope looked like in their contemporary world. The festival transformed into a vibrant tapestry of culture and creativity, with diverse segments highlighting segments of faith. On the day of the festival, the sun-spun warmth blanketed the city, setting the stage for an event brimming with creativity and an unshakable sense of community. Carlo stood beside Anna as the crowd began to gather, a palpable excitement thrumming through the air. As he surveyed the sea of faces, some familiar and others just spectating, Carlo realized how far they had come. This was more than just a gathering, it was a celebration of life, a testament to the miracles often found in day-to-day stories marked by resilience and beauty. The festival kicked off with music echoing through the air, inviting everyone to partake in an immersive experience filled with laughter, storytelling, and artistic expressions. Artists displayed their heartfelt works around the park, a vivid array of color and emotion poised to inspire all who wandered through the paths of creativity. Throughout the day, Carlo saw how young artists stepped into the spotlight. Each one took turns sharing their artistic pieces with pride. Music resonated from the stage, with Pedro performing his heartfelt song, a piece drawn from moments of joy and struggle that rolled into one melodic narrative. The audience swayed in unison, uplifted by the beauty of his expression. As the hours drifted on, Carlo moved through the crowd, observing an atmosphere steeped in love and unity. Each encounter brought renewed hope. He felt liberated as he witnessed how lives were intertwining, strangers becoming friends and budding artists finding their confidence amidst applause. Later in the afternoon, Carlo moderated a panel discussion on the power of storytelling and art as vehicles for faith. Young artists shared personal stories behind their work, addressing struggles and triumphs. Faith is finding a way to navigate our moments of despair, and art helps us channel it, Clara emphasized, her eyes sparkling with passion. As the day culminated, the energy in the air thickened with anticipation for the evening performances. Carlo introduced the final act. Everyone would gather for one last celebration, a finale that would culminate all their stories together into a singular harmonious voice. As they all took to the stage, Carlo felt a powerful wave of gratitude wash over him. Tonight we reflect on a journey that began with each of us hoping for inspiration and connection. Today, we celebrate not just our individual stories but our shared commitment to one another. This is where miracles are born. As the performance evolved into song and dance, each voice intertwined with the next, enveloping the audience in an anthem of unity and resilience. In that moment, Carlo Acutis understood the sheer magnitude of their movement. He saw the miracle of Santarém weaving through every story, binding them together in a tapestry that transcended time. When the last notes faded into the night and the audience erupted in applause, Carlo's heart swelled with joy. There, amid the electrifying energy, he realized that each story shared had sown seeds of hope that would ripple into the lives of countless others. Each person had left their mark, contributing to the ongoing legacy of faith centered in creativity and love. As the festival concluded, Carlo made a quiet vow to continue sharing their collective narrative. In that moment, he envisioned a future where faith persisted through art as a beacon for everyone yearning for connection. He felt the light of the miracle guiding him, ever present, reminding him that faith resides not only in the extraordinary but also in the simple acts of love and unity that shape life itself. Each voice, each story would continue to echo far and wide, inspiring the next generations to shine their light brightly. Carlo embraced the unfolding future with anticipation, understanding that the miracles they had experienced together were merely the beginning as they forged ahead on this extraordinary journey. As the months rolled by after the festival, Carlo Acutis found himself immersed in a ripple of change that extended far beyond the borders of Santarém. The anthology they had created, a blend of stories, art, and heartfelt expressions, had sparked an artistic renaissance, its influence echoing in classrooms and community centers across the region. Carlo and Anna had created an enduring legacy, building bridges between individuals from different backgrounds, encouraging them to embrace their faith and experiences. Communities began reaching out, eager to witness their creativity firsthand, drawn by the power of storytelling that resonated as a means of connection. Amidst the flurry of activity, Carlo felt a calling to unite all these individuals under a common initiative. He envisioned a large-scale event dubbed the Journey of Hope, where young artists, storytellers, and musicians from various corners of the country would be invited to showcase their journey of faith through art. It would be a celebration of diversity, woven together through the universal theme of hope. With Anna's unwavering support, Carlo mapped out their plans, the venue, logistics, and outreach. They set their sights on the stunning cultural center known for its ability to accommodate large gatherings, with beautiful spaces ready to showcase the works of aspiring artists. Carlo sent invitations to schools, arts organizations, and community centers, eager to bring the spirit of collaboration to life. As the event date approached, anticipation filled the air. Carlo visited schools, engaging students and inviting them to participate in workshops, encouraging everyone to share their unique perspectives on faith. He often found himself enthralled by the stories that emerged during these workshops, tales of personal struggles, breakthroughs, and the roles that creativity had played in their lives. One lovely afternoon at a high school, he met Sophia, a shy artist who had only recently begun to explore her expression through painting. While Carlo guided the students through reflections on their journeys, Sophia unveiled her canvas, a striking portrayal of a flower blooming through cracks in concrete. "Wow, Sophia, this is beautiful," Carlo exclaimed, recognizing the metaphor she had created. "What does it represent for you?" "It's about resilience," she said, her voice soft but firm. "Like faith, we can find beauty even in broken places. I want to show others that they can always rise above." Inspired by her passion, Carlo encouraged Sophia to showcase her work at the upcoming event. "You have a gift and your story is important. Others will find hope in your resilience," he urged, igniting a newfound confidence within her. In the days leading up to the Journey of Hope, the collective spirit of creativity surged. Young artists like Sophia began to open up, unearthing hidden talents and expressing their faith through art. Performers rehearsed their routines, pouring their hearts into their songs, while writers explored how they could share their journeys of faith through poetry and storytelling. Finally, the day of the event arrived, and the cultural center buzzed with energy. Decorated with artwork, vibrant colors adorned the walls, and the atmosphere hummed with excitement as visitors began to flow in. Carlo felt a rush of anticipation as he looked around, witnessing firsthand the culmination of their hard work. He could feel the spirit of the miracle alive in every stroke of paint, every note sung, and every story shared. As the gathering commenced, Carlo welcomed everyone with open arms. "Today, we celebrate not just our individuality but our shared commitment to transforming lives. Together, we have created a tapestry, a journey of hope that shows how our stories can uplift others and inspire change." The crowd erupted into cheers, and he turned to the stage where Sophia was set to share her painting. Her hands trembled slightly as she stepped up, but he could see the fire in her eyes. With newfound courage, she began to speak. "This is my masterpiece, not just for me but for everyone who feels lost. Painting gave me the hope to believe I could bloom no matter the obstacles." As the event progressed, a delightful mixture of artistic expressions filled the air: poetry recitations, musical performances, and breathtaking live art displays. Each voice connected with the audience, weaving a tapestry of resilience that resonated deeply in the hearts of those present. Carlo moved through the exhibition space, absorbing the power of creative exploration and expression taking center stage. He listened to each artist's story, witnessing the profound impact their hands and voices had on those around them. This was more than an exhibition; it was a celebration of unity, a reminder that faith thrived in unexpected moments. As the sun began to set, Carlo felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. He looked out at the crowd, seeing the joy and sense of belonging that filled the faces surrounding him. This was the miracle of Santarém, a legacy that had blossomed into communal love, shining brightly through the stories and art of young dreamers. With the festival concluding, attendees joined hands in a united circle, singing a song of hope, an anthem that bound their experiences, resonating through the halls of the cultural center and beyond. Carlo stood at the center, deeply moved, witnessing the incredible strength of not just their stories but the hope they had inspired together. That night, as he lay beneath the stars, Carlo felt the weight of miracles surrounding him. The fire ignited during their journeys was merely the beginning. Together, they would explore the uncharted territories of creativity and faith. He closed his eyes, filled with lingering joy, understanding that their voices would continue to echo far and wide, transforming lives with love and resilience long into the future. It was in this ongoing journey of sharing their collective narrative that they would inspire generations to come, woven together by the threads of faith and creativity in a magnificent tapestry of hope. A truly deserved lesson. If you agree, please like this video and subscribe for more stories, and tell us what you thought in the comments.